different things on these charts, but generally sub 1 hour. I like these because they give me some really sensitive data. And all I'm really doing is looking for something that I'm about to do that could be construed as foolish, as Joel would say, right? So I want to make sure that there's nothing there that would be, an indication that I'd be doing something foolish. So right now, it's a challenging, I think it's a challenging situation to shorten, just because if you look at it, we actually have the 24 200 period MA, right? Simple MA right here, right? This is our ribbon. And so with that being present, I would say it kind of makes it a little tougher to know what to do, right? This is probably not even a situation I would recommend most people even try to trade. But I see that we have we're below, should I say, the 200 period on the 5. We're below the 200 period on the 12. We're above it on the 24, as you can see up here, same chart. That one's just one that holds the info next to it on the CCM. We're in expansion to the downside still, technically, right? There's still potential for expansion to the downside on this chart here, the 1 hour. And let's see, the 2 hour, we're below the 200 SMA, and then the 1 day, honestly, this is like a retest right now of that same SMA. And then just to put it in perspective, we're pretty much well below the 4 hour SMA, right? So I would say, the larger scale time frames, especially the macro over here, we're clearly bearish, right? Clear trends, bearish. Movement monitors, bearish. We have more volatility monitors performing as resistance than we do performing as supports, as inferred by the 1 day all the way through the 1 week being red. We have linear regression in these larger 1 day all the way through 4 day time frames, kind of breaking a bit bearish. All of these things are pretty bearish in the big picture. But some of this data is lagging because, it's larger scale, 1 day, 2 day, 3 day, multi-day data. But again, just to still have the expansion monitor present lets me know that we still have room for downside. We could easily go back to our support, right? Wherever it is, right? So that's the first thing I look at. I'll look at generally what is going on the 1 day time frame. Where are we in relation to pressure lines? Where are we in relation to clouds, my ribbon? Where are we in a channel? If you look back there, you can kind of see the channel. Let me get rid of these lines here to declutter it a bit. Right, so now you can kind of see the channel. The 1 day is not in open expansion, but it's still there, right? Which is why it's a little dot on this one. So something to consider. So as I look at Bitcoin, I see the up to the 24-minute is bullish, right? So we definitely have a bit of volatility. This is technically the channel that's been built in the 24-minute. We can see it's definitely volatile because the 12-minute is showing bearish, right? The 5-minute is breaking bullish. So we're kind of all over the place. This is what you see when it's ranging, when it's not a clear direction, when it's not, clear, let's say, downside across the board. And so that's something to be aware of. But we can see, some of these larger time frames, like the 4 hour, right? Linear regression, bearish. The 2 hour linear regression, bearish. The 1 day linear regression, bearish. We look at the 12 hour, because we have this cool little algo, and we can see the 12 hour, if we were to pull it up, is bearish, breaking bearish. And the 4 hour, even though we can't see it on the chart, is bearish, breaking bearish. So if anything, that's something to consider, right? So we pretty much have a relatively decent bearish bias. Right now, I'd say Bitcoin is trying to see what it can do against the longer term moving averages for the 1 hour. It's putting up a little bit of a fight volatility wise to the upside, but I think it's very clear that right now the short term trade, to seek out would probably be the I wonder why those didn't disappear. Would probably be the short, right? So kind of keep that in mind. Did those go away? Yeah, perfect. Okay, so probably the short. With that being said, I want to kind of show people what I'm looking at, just another way of finding a more intelligent place to short. I think this does require some skill